I'm Jenny McCusker. I'm one of the principal leads for Leading to Change, and I'm with my colleague, Michaela. I'll just let you introduce yourself, Michaela.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michaela Pagani. I'm also part of the Leading to Change team here at NHS Education for Scotland. Thank you for giving us an hour of your day-to-day to talk about leadership.
So welcome, and this session is really about leadership for all. So we're not going to be talking about how to become a manager today. We're talking about really how you can be your best self at work and the leadership qualities that you can develop so that you do your job well. You may be interested in developing a career, or you might just want to be in the role you do and do it really well. Leadership qualities will help you do both. So Leading to Change is a national offer around leadership development. It's been developed in collaboration between the Scottish Government and NHS Education for Scotland. And it's for health, social care and social work. And what it is about is really leading with kindness and inclusion, making sure that everyone has an opportunity to be themselves at work and working together.
I've done a coaching session, I've done one of the pilot coaching sessions.
Okay, so hopefully that will give you a little insight into what Leading to Change is all about and the types of people it's for. It's really for anyone who has an interest in learning more about leadership and development. And this session, we're going to give you almost a mini taster of what's involved. So we will talk a little bit around leadership and ask you what it means for you. We're then going to do a personal reflection exercise, which is based on the learnings of Stephen Covey. And then we're going to share some practical information and show you a little demonstration on our website so that you can navigate and find the things that might be helpful to you. We will need a paper and pen for this exercise, so do grab one now. And really as an introduction to what we mean about leadership, this is a quote from Maya Angelou, and I'm not going to read it. Really, when you think about a team that you've worked in and it's been a fantastic team, it's often the manager might be good, but it's often your colleagues that really make that team experience really special for you and the whole team serves the patients or the service users, the people who use our service. So it's really what we want to get over today is the importance of every single person in a team and how you can bring your best as a leader within that team. And I'm going to hand over to Michaela now.
One of my favorite quotes around leadership is from David Marquet, who's a nuclear submarine commander, and he wrote a book called Turn the Ship Around, and he talked about using a leader approach to do that. So his quote was, leadership is not a position, leadership is a choice, if you like. So it's how do you show up at work? How do you approach problems and obstacles and challenges? How do you bring people together towards, making decisions and overcoming what is happening? Okay, so I'm just going to close the poll. Thank you so much for your input here. I think when we look at all these aspects of what leadership is, very often the question comes, I write, but I don't have any power to really change things. Or where does my power come in? What can I do? So Jenny will tell us a bit more about what can we do? How can we influence things? So on to you, Jenny. I will go on mute now. If you need me, bring me in. Okay.
Thanks, Michaela. Yeah, so this is the part of the session where it's over to you, really. So with your paper and your pen, if you draw 2 circles, and we're just going to talk a little bit more about how you can use your own self-agency and choose where you use your energy when you are setting objectives and goals, and how you can achieve them, how you can focus, and how you can make good choices. So as I said, this exercise is based on the work of Stephen Covey, and he talks about the circle of influence and the circle of concern. Now, this is a very busy world that we live in, and the workplace is so fast-paced. There are so many demands, and home and other aspects of your whole life. And what sits within the circle of influence and circle of concern that you think about on a daily or sometimes an hourly basis, that you need to make a decision about, that could be playing on your mind, that could require some action, and the things that we're avoiding doing. So what Stephen Covey says, whilst there is a circle of concern, so these are all the things that take our thoughts and our energies, there are some things in that wider circle that we can influence. So there are things like the weather that unfortunately we can't influence, and the things that we can influence are the choices that we can make. So am I going to go for that walk at lunchtime, or I'm going to sit at the computer and work through my lunch hour? That's within my circle of influence if I'm feeling busy and clogged up. As I said, some things are within our influence, and what we tend to do is expend a lot of time and energy on things within the circle of concern and things that perhaps we don't have any way of influencing. So as I described, we might not be able to impact on the weather, or we can't impact directly on the economy or the terrible news stories. And sometimes you can really spend a lot of energy on those things. However, Stephen Covey said that if we can focus less on those things that aren't within our control and more of the things that we can influence, the things that we can make good changes to, then that is a practice of leadership, and it's a way that we can best use our energy. So if you imagine we've only got finite amount of energy in one day. And if you can change the focus of your thoughts from worrying about the weather or worrying about a problem at work, for example, that you don't have an influence over, to something that you can influence. So that might be, so I can't influence the weather, but I'm going to make a good choice and I'm going to dress for the weather and I'm going to go out and have a walk anyway. That's my circle of influence. So for example, in work, you might not be able to influence directly who's going to be the new manager, but you may be able to influence how you respond to that manager. Are you going to make them welcome? Are you going to find a way of having a good conversation with them about what you want to achieve in your PDP, for example? These are the things that you can influence. So if Stephen Covey says, by focusing your energy on the things that you can influence, you will start to increase the scope of what you can achieve and decrease the things that are out with your control. So I know that sounds a bit complicated, but actually it is quite an easy exercise once you get into it. So hopefully I've given a introduction to that.
So the third aspect of today's session is what is in my toolbox. So Jason Leeds, our National Medical Director, who was also opened the Learning Week, has this quote about leadership, and it goes as follows. It's a very simple one. It's a very interesting one to explore. So it says, in leadership, you need pals, you need tools, and you need courage. And by pals, he means the ability to build relationships, to connect with others, to build trust and respect. By tools, he means tools in your toolbox to be able to lead and manage different aspects of your workload, of people coming together. And courage, that's the thing that we control, that we have to build for ourselves. So what makes us courageous in conversations? So looking at pals, tools, and courage, it's all about considering what is in your own unique toolbox. And even Michelangelo, at 87, he said, I am still learning. Or Socrates, the famous Greek philosopher, said, I've learned one thing in life, is that I know nothing. So it's this humility that we will never learn, we will not know everything that there is to know. The more we learn, the more we realize how little we know. And is that aspect of learning to be a learner, perhaps, is a good aspect of a leader that I will never know. Or what do you do when you don't know? So having that aspect. So let's have a look about how leaders learn, if you like, because we are in leadership development for all. And Donna Jane, I love Jason Leeds as well. He's very inspirational. And you do feel that everything is possible with all these different aspects of, the challenges we're facing at this moment in time. So a while ago, that was, I'm sharing in my screen a framework for leadership development. And as you can see, there are 3 circles there, 70, 20, and 10. So this particular model, you might be familiar with it or not. This was based on research by the Center of Creative Leadership in the 80s and 90s. And then they spoke to a lot of leaders who were in a manager position, so a lot of successful leaders, if you like, and asked them, how did you learn to be a leader? What did it for you? So about 70% of them said that it was on the job learning, on the job experience, learning by doing, which also reminds me a quote from John Dewey, which is, education is not preparation for life, education is life itself. Okay, so is that aspect of learning on the job? 20% said that actually I learned from others by observing other people in my team and how they did it, by working with others, by connecting. So line manager support, development, coaching, mentoring, sometimes good examples, sometimes bad examples of, this is where I want to be, this is where I don't want to be as a leader. And 10% of leadership development comes from more structured programs. So this is more your academic, different models, books, articles, completing different programs. But this is also a very important part, because again, if you use another example of how you learn how to drive. So at some point when I got my license, I had a piece of paper that said that I've passed my theory test. And this was a very important piece of work. It didn't make me a full driver. I still had to learn, and I think I've learned more after I got my license. But imagine what type of a driver would I be if I didn't have that 10% of theory. So there are certain things we don't know what we don't know. So is that aspect of having some structure, some theory helps us, but reading a book about leadership will not make you a leader. In the same way, reading a book about running a marathon will not make you a marathon runner. So is that aspect of what does it look like? How can you be? And it's all about connecting these three. So Harvard Business Review worked with this model recently after the COVID pandemic and the hybrid era of leadership development and how we learn. And they spent 2 to 3 years on that in terms of how do leaders in the more modern era work. So what they did was they actually found the most important thing is not the three circles that you see, but it's how do you connect them. So we have a link to the full article in the corner of the slide as well. So if you click it, you should be able to see the full article. But to give you a whistle-stop tour here, it's all about how do you use each to connect, to make connections. So the 10% is how can I have some mental models to make some vocabulary to make me understand the world as it is just now. The 20% through interactions with others, how can I increase my own self-awareness about how do I show up, how do I come across as a leader, my own identity, my own philosophy, my own authenticity. And the 70% is having an opportunity to try and connect through reflection, through coaching, through support, through observing, taking a step back and observing, how did we solve that problem? So these are the three elements, if you like, and the combinations of what Harvard Business Review did. What about you, Jenny? How do you like to learn as a leader?
So I am noticing a sort of thread of good line manager, good role models, and certainly when I think about periods in my career where I've really developed faster, it has been when I've had a good line manager or I've had good role models. So I started off my career at the equivalent of a band 2, and went straight from school into work. I didn't go to university at that stage of my life. I went to university through working in the NHS and having great opportunities and great role models, and people were always willing to step in. And I think we don't always have great line managers at every stage of our work. And so for me, what strikes me is seeking alternative role models to support you, people to be your cheerleaders, and people that will maintain your confidence. So for me, it's really the connection to people and learning from and with people. Although I do like a bit of theory too, Michaela.
Yes, and when you go back to remember those people, perhaps going back to what Maya Angelou said, maybe I don't remember what exactly they said, but I remember I felt confident and I felt that I can do it. So no, that resonates. Thank you, Jane. And I can see there is also an element of values that I can see in your responses, things like humility, perseverance, trying again, stealing with pride. And stealing with pride it's a way of being inspired as well. Okay. So looking at the toolbox aspect, so what I will do now, because we are a leadership development offer, we have tools that might be useful for your own toolbox. So what I will do is I will share my screen and then I will show you what's on offer from Leading to Change. So we have resources, we have programs, we have our newsletter, we have an app. So it's lots of different things. I will give you a 5-minute whistle-stop tour of what is available. And the session is recorded, so you can go back to it if you like, or you can explore the website. It's more about showing you what is there, so you can use it for yourself, you can share them with your team, and it's all about, we all have different ways of learning, so make it work in the way that works for you and your own learning approach. So this is the Leading to Change website. And then I will start with a banner on the top called What's on Offer. So if you hover there, it says What's on Offer. There is events, resources, programs, blogs. I will start with resources. So I will click here. And there are many different ways to filter resources. So you can look at the type of resource, whether it's a podcast, a toolkit, a film, a report, an article, or by topic or by sector. The sectors will try to keep things united, if you like, things that makes good leadership across all the sectors, but there's also sector-specific aspects there. So let me just open one at random. Feedback is a gift. There is a quick video. It gives you an expert and a summary of what the video is, a duration of 9 minutes, and then you can watch the video, for example. These are things we have curated and certain things that we also have created. So if you prefer to read than watch, you can go here. And then this is an article about how can you give feedback in your team. So the gift of feedback. So lots of different ways and techniques that you can use, and it's a 5-minute read, for example, for that one. So these are all resources that we have hand-picked for you. So this is the resources section, and you can use the filters, as I said, to actually make it work for you if you like. Programs, these are more, some of them are more formal, cohorted, like groups, group learning, more formal learning, and some of them are open programs as well. So to give you an example, some of them are delivered by NES, NHS Education for Scotland, but others are in collaboration with other universities or educational bodies. So for example, one of the programs is the University of Glasgow Micro-Credentials. These are fully funded courses. It opens twice a year, and you can find out more about the different types of programs. So for example, these are some of the themes, and you can get credits for that. So it could be management, leadership, trauma, change management, project management. So all these they count as micro-credentials, and they give you credits for your learning as well. Another example of things we host in other platforms could be like Future Learn courses, King's Fund courses. And you as a collaborative leader, this is a cohorted program that we've offered as NES. So this is for people who work in integration between health, social care, and social work. New Horizons is a program, an annual program for new and emerging leaders. So if you're in your first line management position or you're an emerging leader, Leading for the Future, that's for senior managers and leaders across the different sectors, digital leadership. But one of the ones I will select just now to show you a bit more is coaching for well-being. We've talked about how challenging things are in our sectors at the moment, that we are on our knees, and that's the aspect of there is a lot of negativity, there is a lot of doom and gloom, there is a lot of real challenges we're facing, and there is a lot of focus on our well-being at the same time. So coaching for well-being, for those who haven't heard of it before, this is a free offer of 2 hours of coaching with a focus on well-being for all colleagues who work in health, social care, and social work, regardless of level, regardless of position. This is available to all of you. And this is not counseling. This is just 2 hours with a qualified coach with a focus on well-being. So once a year, you can make best use of those 2 hours. You can use that or refer if you're worried about someone, if someone wants to know more about how they can maximize their well-being at work. That's that type of resource. Okay, so you can find out more here in the program section. We also have blogs from leaders across health, social care, and social work, telling us about things that are important to them. So if you want to be a blogger for us, let us know as well. We want to promote as many diverse voices as we can. And we also have events. So at the moment, we offer 3 different types of events and Leading to Change. We have our community events. There is actually one this afternoon. And the community event is bringing leaders across different levels and sectors to tell us about things that worked for them, real case studies, if you like, and their own experiences under a leadership theme. So we are looking at collaboration and creativity at the moment. For that one, we also have So we have 2 to 3 leaders telling us their story, and then we go into breakout rooms and try to have this collective learning and sharing. So learning by action, learning by doing, if you like. The one here, the green one, Diversity Coffee Connect, this is an open space to bring up different topics relating to diversity, equality, and inclusion in a safe space. Very often we've been told we cannot talk about things, and we have run out of practice about how to talk about things that are very, very important. So this is an hour over lunchtime to talk about different diversity aspects that are important to us. And the Leadership Links webinars, which is this bit here with the light bulb, these are master classes. So you actually bring an expert, give them a topic, and then they tell you the expert knowledge. So this is an hour of like a lecture type of thing. So the next one is on 2nd of November. It's about difficult conversations, collaboration, change, and negotiation by Jerry Kavanaugh. So these are the 3 events we have at the moment, but we also update it with partner events from other organizations that we work with as well. So this is an example of our events. And the last thing I will show you is our app. So if you go on what's on offer, that SAQ, that's a self-assessment questionnaire. It's all about your own leadership potential. This is a tool that we've made free for all leaders at all levels, and it's a half an hour investment in your time. It is an online questionnaire. The videos tell you more about what this is, and it talks about your own potential as a leader. And you can access that by Leading to Change app here. You have to create a tutors account if you don't have one already, and it allows you to create your profile and get your results. So usually the question you get asked is, how do I keep up with all these things? How do I know that there are new resources, or how do I know, that there's events? So the best way to do that is at the bottom of the website here. There is a sign up for news and updates. And if you do that, you get our Friday email. And our Friday emails are very popular. We're receiving really positive feedback about them. I will show you how one looks like to see if you would like to subscribe. So this comes out every Friday afternoon, and it talks about the different topic of leadership. So last week's, for example, was curiosity and conflict. It gives you a narrative, and then there are 3 things to read, and usually it could be a very short read over 2 minutes to a longer read. 3 things to watch or listen, and again, there is something for everyone depending on how much time you've got to spend, and a summary of the events that are on offer. We also send you updates. So, for example, we have 200 Leadership Live subscriptions available at the moment for everyone. So this was one of the emails we've sent recently. I think this one came out yesterday. So this is how you can keep up with what is available for your own development and for your team. So this is a whistle-stop tour of our website.
Some of the leadership offers are for the formal leadership program offers are for a certain level. However, the majority of our resources are for everybody. So all the events are open to everyone. You are welcome. If you feel different, then we want you, because we want to hear from people at all different levels, representing all parts of the system. The online learning resources available to everyone, free, and what I would say is the resources are literally receive your newsletter once a week. It takes you a couple of minutes to have a look at it, up to sort of more programmed activities, or you can read or learn or use our content for as long or as short a time as you have. So even just giving yourself permission. So what I do sometimes, if I've been working and doing the work and it's all about everyone else, I stop and think, I'm going to do one thing for myself today. And it might just be looking on a website, or doing a little bit of reading relating to my work or something like that, and I'll feel better that I've done that one thing. But what I would like to finish the session is just thank you for your time. Thank you for investing. You are all worth it, and you all do an amazing job being in this system where patients and users and people benefit. So thank you.